So I had a couple of requests to send pictures about the interior of the 54XL. So I thought I'd do just a little video of what it looks like right now. So the back loading door with the storage space right here for bandages or other small items. On the passenger side, we have a squad bench, which is not that big, with tons of space underneath. The squad bench is probably big enough for a long spine board, a short spine board, or other small items. So that would explain why some of these cars had a box on the roof to store the spine boards and the scoop stretcher. Underneath the squad bench we have the heater, and we have 120 volt that is hooked on to the exterior shoreline. Over there, the other grill is an air intake. On the side here, that metal grill is in front of a speaker for a radio, like a music radio, and there's a switch to turn the speaker on or off. On the side of the car, these two brackets here are there to hold a stretcher, like a number 9 stretcher, which you would hook on this hook and the other one there on the roof, and on these two here on the side. So the configuration of the car could be made to carry 3 patients, one on the main stretcher, one on the squad bench, and one hanging from the ceiling. On the driver's side, here I took it off to clean it and paint it, but this is where the valve is for the air suspension. Over there, there's not a lot of space here. I imagine that would be space for a fire extinguisher, because otherwise I'm not quite sure what kind of equipment would fit there. And there are some holes here. They're 9-inch tall by 1-inch wide, which is probably the bracket for a fire extinguisher. Cabinets. There's certainly lots of cabinet space, but interestingly enough, it doesn't go all the way to the roof, so there is somewhat of a wasted area here. Here under this door, there's lots of storage space underneath, probably for your folding stretcher or other items. I have to fix the hinges there. It's on my to-do list. We have oxygen port on the passenger side, oxygen port on the driver's side, as well as a vacuum port. The vacuum, I believe, runs off the engine vacuum. I tested it when the car was running. It works pretty good. Here's your standard suction unit. On the top of the cabinet, there's the hook for your high V's. On the action panel, the black button here is a dimmer switch for I'm not sure how well you see it, but for the cot light. It's a dimmer switch. Where is it? Right here. Here is your standard buzzer to notify the driver of what's happening in the back. Over here, we have a panel light that turns on light in this little panel. This turns on or off your dome lights. Here's your cot light. This is for the vent, which is located here. It was working earlier, probably a wire that got disconnected. Your heater. The auxiliary lock here is hooked on to the music radio speaker. So when you have music playing up front, you can turn it on and off from here. And here you have your night lights, which are these two blue lights here on the ceiling. We have space for 2 D-cylinders, some storage space up here. Over here we have our air conditioner outlet and the original no smoking sign from Nebraska. Underneath the attendant seat here, we have a power inverter and a battery charger. Underneath this seat here, this is a fresh air intake that goes up over there, I believe. There's another 120 volt outlet. All the seat belts have the Shelly Globe logo on them. And there is a little bit of storage space in here. On the side door, there's more storage space. Now, one thing that I believe is different from some of the other cars that I've seen is this little extension here. If you have the regular Model 30 stretcher, the wheels of the stretcher are about here. But if you have a one-man stretcher, the loading wheels are at the top of the stretcher, so the loading wheels go all the way up to here. As you will notice on the bulkhead here, it has some holes where initially I thought the Ferner Model 1 stretcher bar was hooked on, but these holes do not match the bracket for the stretcher bar. So I do not know what was there before. If anybody has any idea, please let me know, because I would like to know what was hooked on this little bulkhead here. So my guess right now is that this car was never equipped with a Ferner Model 30 stretcher. Down here we have another 120 volt outlet, another fresh air intake, a little bit more storage area here. This just comes out, provide you with storage, and here is your cabinet for the M tank. That's where your M tank would be located for your oxygen. Need to fix it. But just like any old car, always something to do. So there you go. In a nutshell, that is what the back interior of the 54XL looks like. Oh yes, on the headliner here, we have a zipper that opens up, and if you had the light configuration with one light in the middle of the roof, you would unzip the zipper, and this is where the wires, electrical wires, would be for the light, and also where the bolts are to secure the lights to the roof. And here the configuration is 2 lights up on the front of the roof. So here are the wire. So I have the here's actually the wire for the small antenna that's on the roof, and the wires for the lights and the siren. It's a light and siren combination, one on each side, plus the fasteners that hold the light in place. Okay, so if you have any questions, don't hesitate to drop me a line. So this is what the interior of a 54XL looks like.